We're going to use triads as a lead guitar device. We're going to learn a couple of minor triads, and they're movable. I'm going to show you the triads and what scales live in the triad so we can add licks and scalar notes to the triad to really come up with some melodic, memorable solo ammunition. A triad is just a 3-note chord. It's usually stacked up in thirds, and there's 4 basic types of triads. There's major, minor, diminished, and augmented. Now for this particular lesson, we're in the key of E minor. The jam track is just 2 chords. It's an E minor over a B minor. That's it. So we're going to focus on the minor triads and the surrounding scales. A minor triad is 3 notes that make up that minor chord. It's a root, a flat third, and a fifth. We're looking at an E minor chord and a B minor chord to play over in this progression. As it changes, we're going to change what we're doing. We're going to solo over each chord independently, what I call treat each chord as a separate event. So that E minor chord is made up of the notes E, the root, G, the flat third, and B, the fifth. And the B minor chord is made up of B, D, and F sharp. And if you want to know how to get that jam track, the same one that I used in the intro, plus 5 more, I'll send you 6 for free. Great sounding tracks. Click on that link in the YouTube description box. I'll send you my jam track coach, which consists of 6 killer jam tracks in different keys and tempos, including this one in E minor, right? And 2 ebooks. One where I go over the tracks one at a time and explain what to try over what and what works and why. And then in the second one, I diagram out all the scales and whatnot. So it's really, really killer information. Let's learn the minor triad off of the G string root, and we're just going to play the top 3 strings, high E, B, and G. So all you have to do is find the E note, because we're going to do the E minor chord first, E minor triad, on the G string, 9th fret. There's our E note, and there's our triad. E, 9th fret G string, right? Here is our G note on the 8th fret B, and there's our B note, 7th fret on that high E. There's our E minor triad shape. Notice that kind of looks like this E minor chord, right? Just play that as top 3 strings, okay? Now, this is movable, which is gold, because just move to the root note on that G string, 3rd fret, play the same, 3rd finger I mean, and play the same shape. So if we wanted to play a B minor triad on the root with the G string, just move that down to our B note, which is at the 4th fret on the G string. Play the same shape. There's our B minor triad, right? E minor. Already you can kind of hear the chord changes, how that outlines those changes, now, right? If you look at this triad a little harder, there's a scale that lives in. And in the key of E minor, since we want to use, let's say, E natural minor over this chord, over this progression, there's this beautiful E natural minor scale. Here's the triad, and here's the... So we can focus on those really important, strong chord tones, E, G, B, and then mix them in with those scale notes like I was doing in the intro. Same thing over the B minor chord. You just move that whole shape down. There's our B minor triad, and same scale, B natural minor. Because it lives right inside this triad, inside that scale. Let me show you one other one, and then we'll get back to licks over each chord and whatnot. So let's learn another triad, the high E string root 3-note triad. So for E, all you would do is you would find your E note on the high E string, 12th fret, and here's what that triad looks like. E, B, G. Just a 1-finger bar over the top 3 strings. Kind of looks like this full E minor chord. Now again, that's movable. We're playing the E minor triad off of the high E string root, which is at the 12th fret. Now, when we go to B minor, 7th fret, because at the 7th fret high E string, there's my B note. So you just bar, top 3 strings. There's your B minor triad. Okay, so you know those triads. What good is that, right? How do we use them? How do we apply them? How do we make them musical? Just knowing them is only half the battle. So, like I said, find the scale that that triad lives in, and then we're going to play notes attached to that triad, landing on those strong chord tones. So, up here at the 12th fret, the E minor triad lives in this E natural minor scale. Because now we can hit it, we know those 3 notes of that minor triad, and now we have all these other notes right here that we can grab and then emphasize, right, our triad notes. Same thing for B minor, remember 7th fret? And the B natural minor scale, same exact shape, we're just moving it to the 7th fret. Here's a cool little lick I was doing where I was taking each note of the minor triad, for instance this E1, E minor, but I was sliding into it and playing each note twice. And then I was ending it on my E note with vibrato, sliding 9, 7, 9. Right, hitting the note a couple times. Vary the lick. You could do that same thing over the B minor chord. Playing them over each chord, outlining the change. Another lick I was doing, emphasizing the triad notes, was I was doing this bend from the 10th to the 12th fret. I'm bending up to that B. There's my triad note. There's another one right there. And ending on my E note. And half step bend. Just doing that one a lot. You do that same thing down on this B minor triad. Again, you hear that triad within the notes that you're playing, mixing in with the scales. If you have a second, please subscribe to the channel. You know, subscribing to the channel, that really helps us to keep bringing the content. Let us know how you like this lesson and what lessons you'd like to see in the future. And if you like the lesson, please click the thumbs up, give it a like, and we so appreciate it. Another thing I was doing, I was sliding up to that 1-finger triad, like the E minor one. And then I was playing that, adding that F sharp note, playing that 9. And then I was doing it over the B. See, I was letting those triad notes ring out. Right? That's back to the E. You can get right back on that E note. It's important to know where those root notes are, your E's. Another cool little thing I was doing with that triad was I was kind of sweeping it and then grabbing the high E note, high root note at the 12th fret. But I was using like one downstroke. And then playing back. If I do it slow, it's kind of a cool little, you can slide it over. So you put different tags on the ending of a cool lick, you can get something very memorable. Choosing all those notes in that triad, adding in a scale note, and then do the same thing over the B chord. B minor chord, right? Hear how you're outlining those changes with these triads. Try it over the jam track. Make sure you click on that link below. I'll send you this jam track and 5 more, so you have tons of application and 2 ebooks. Click on that link, I'll send it to you for free. Be sure and subscribe to the channel, right? That really, really helps us keeping the content coming. Thank you so much for your support over the years. I hope this lesson helps you along in your guitar and musical journey. Take care and rock on.